Hey, it's Cobra here at MaddenGuides.com, and for this video breakdown, we're going to take a look at a defense called 46 Bear Wall Stunt, and we're going to look to get some pressure coming from the left side of the offensive line. So let's go ahead and take a look at the plays that we're going to run, and then we'll get on the field and talk about this. This is going to be kind of a long video, so just sit back and kind of chill out if you guys are doing this, and just kind of watch, and I'll kind of go through it and show you all my thoughts on it and why it don't work. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. First thing we want to do is we're going to go ahead and show you the plays that we're going to run. Obviously, I've already mentioned the 46 Bear Wall Stunt, which is this play right here on your screen. You got to do this from the 46 playbook. I'm not sure what other playbooks it's in. I know it's definitely in the 46. And then if you look over here for the offensive play, at least we're going to start off as this Y cell, and then we're going to look at the slants as well. I want to show that as well. So what I want to do is let's go ahead and get on the field. The other thing is I do want to mention is you need to go ahead and flip the defense if you're following along. I prefer to flip it. You don't have to flip it, but then the pressure will come from the right side rather than the left side, and I want to go ahead and get it from the left side of the offensive line. So go ahead and flip it if you're following along, and let's go ahead and get on the field here and take a look at this, and then we'll go from there. All right. Now, as I mentioned earlier in one of the videos I've done, I've talked about you can run zone coverages even against gun formations, even with multiple receivers, because with zone defense, you don't have to worry about the speed so much as far as the linebackers trying to cover these slot receivers, and et cetera. It doesn't really matter in my opinion. I mean, speed's nice to have, but you can definitely get away with it more so if you were to run man. If you run man defenses against spread formations, then you're going to end up having some mismatches. But at least with zone, you don't have to worry quite as far as that goes, as far as that's concerned. All right, so what I'm going to show you is I'm going to go ahead and show you the setup, and then we're going to get into some X's and O's on this whole thing and explain to you guys some different things and scenarios that might happen. So let's go ahead and do this. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take control of this guy right here. This is Diggs. We're going to go ahead and bring him down. Keep in mind we're using the Seattle Seahawks as well. So we're going to go ahead and bring him down into the box, and we're going to go ahead and just blitz him. Now, one of the things I'll do with this defense is I'll just allow him to go ahead and rush, and then I'm going to drop him back. And I'm going to show you what I'll do here as we keep going through this. So what I would do is I would go ahead and blitz him and allow him to rush. So at this point, at least let him get up in this area here, and then I'll try to drop him back. So let's go ahead and run the defense, and I'll show you what would happen here. Okay, you can see there I get the pressure on the quarterback. Now, you can see if you look deep down the field, and that deep middle of the field is open. There's a reason for that, obviously, and that's because of Diggs, coming up, and I'm rushing him, and I can't quite get that. Can't drop him far enough back. So let's talk about that. If you were to run this defense inside the 10-yard line, 12 to 10-yard line down near the red zone, you could get away with this a little bit more. What I just showed you, because as I talked about in another breakdown, the 12 defender breakdown, then the end zone would be your 12th defender, and this would take away a lot of that stuff as far as any of these deep passes in here, because they wouldn't have as much area to throw to, correct? So that's one thing you've got to remember on that, but that's not what I want to focus in on this breakdown. The other thing I want to show is I'm going to rewind this a little bit, and if we rewind it here, let's actually go back here and rewind this a little bit. The other defender I want to focus in on here is this linebacker here. Now, if you look at your, when you go into the, when you go into the play art, it shows him playing a hook zone. Now, it's not your standard hook zone. I believe this is like a 3 receive hook. Basically, he ends up covering the guy that goes out in the backfield, which is the running back, if you watch. See how he goes over there and covers him? So that totally clears him out. He's not even over the middle where I want him at. Now, fortunately, I'm dropping my guy, the guy that I'm in control of. Once I fake rush, I drop him back, and I'm taking that away. But what you can do is you can do a couple different things to prevent that from happening as far as with that linebacker going in all kinds of directions. The first thing you can do is you can go ahead and bring your defender up here, which is the safety, and then you can go ahead and re-blitz him like I showed you there, and then you can drop this guy into a middle third read. So if you put him in a middle third read, now watch what happens. Actually, I didn't get the pressure on the quarterback there, but we'll do it again here in a second. Go back in there and do the same thing I just showed you. Usually that edge, you'll get that edge pressure, at least from that linebacker. Let's go and do the same thing again here. I'm not sure what happened, why he didn't get it. But let's go back in here and then drop him back into that mid read, and then we'll take control of this guy right here. Again, that's that safety that I'm in control of, the free safety. So we're going to go up here, and then we're going to try to drop him back. If you look, you'll see that linebacker, and this time, because I put him in that mid read, he ended up dropping into the deep middle is what I want. So that's kind of what I was trying to show there. So let's go ahead and do the same thing again. Another blitz with this guy right here. We'll go ahead and put him in the mid read, switch back to him. And then we're just trying to let him rush enough up there and then dropping him back. I didn't get it again because I hit the wrong button on that. But again, that's the idea of this. You're trying to get that linebacker to drop over the deep middle and then still get the pressure on the quarterback from the edge. So let's do this one more time, see if I can get it to work the way I'm trying to show it to you. All right, there you go. Now I got it. This time we should get this pressure. And then now that's a good example of what I was trying to show earlier. So you can see that we took away the deep middle. We still got the pressure on the quarterback. And then the safety is the one I'm in control of, the free safety. I'm trying to take away anything over the short middle of the field with him. And I still get the edge pressure. That's the nice thing about this defense right there. You can see right there, there's the pressure we're getting. You can see as you look at your screen, although this linebacker is supposed to be playing a hook zone, he kind of drops pretty far back. And then the other defender that I'm in control of, which is right here, I'm taking away all this stuff over the short middle of the field. At least I'm trying to. So that's that setup right there. Now, something you can do, I want to go ahead and point this out to you. Let's go ahead and go into the substitutions, or at least into the subs of this particular formation, is that you can go into the 46 bear and say that, I want to show you guys, actually let's get out of this for a second here. Let me go into the depth chart. A new rating that was added to the game this year, and especially for you guys who like to control linebackers, this kind of had a little bit of an effect on that, and I'll show it to you here. It's basically how they are able to go from left to right or change of direction. So let's go ahead and take a look at that, and take a look at let's take a look at one linebackers here. For example, maybe you want to control Wagner. Wagner's a pretty good linebacker, right? In his own right, he's one of the better ones in the game. But his change of direction, if we can find it on here. See where it's at here. I know it's on here. Just got to find it. Probably wouldn't pass it on my luck. But the change of direction is a big thing as far as with the there's change of direction. So he's got a 78, which is typical in the linebackers. So if you wanted not to have that, what you want to do is you don't control the linebacker, and that's the one thing why I got the linebacker dropping over the middle. I rather control a safety over the short middle of the field. If I'm going to run this defense, I want to patrol the short middle of the field because the change of directions are higher rated. So if you go here, his change of direction, Diggs, the one I'm in control of, is an 85. And that's pretty important. Now, the other option would be is you could flip-flop Diggs and Adams, and then you could have Adams, which is the guy I'm showing right here. He has an 88 change of direction, and Diggs has an 85. That even makes it better. So you could flip-flop them or sub them, and then have Adams play where Diggs is playing at. And that'll allow you to even have a little bit better. It's not much difference, only 3 points, but that's something you might consider doing if you're playing the Seattle Seahawks. So again, to change of direction, if you're going to run this defense and you want to play the short middle of the field, then you might want to do what I'm showing here. Allow that linebacker to go ahead and drop back, and then have the safety playing the short middle of the field. That way you can be in control of him, trying to take away those short routes, crossing routes or whatnot. The other thing you could do is you could go in here and you could go into hooks. And then if you wanted to, you could have them dropping 15 yards. Keep in mind, this is for every single defense that has hook drops. So let's go ahead and do it. But don't forget that you could always reset the defense and turn that off. Once you get on the field, just hit the reset button, then you don't have it anymore. Let's go back in here and run this 46 wall stunt again. And then we're running against the same play that we've been running. As I mentioned, we're going to run this against another formation here in just a bit on the defensive side, on the offensive side of the ball. As soon as I get through here, I just want to show you guys a few more things with this. So we're going to run that cell play again. So again, we're going to go ahead and move him up into this area here, switch off. We got to put, now this time because we went ahead and put him, drop him back 15 yards, we don't have to even actually take control of him. All we got to do is just bring this guy up here. So this makes it one less step as far as with the defense goes. We don't have to worry about the linebacker, because the linebacker will drop with this one. Wagner right here is going to drop into the back about 15 yards. Let's go ahead and run it and take a look at it and see what happens here. And then again, we get that same pressure. So he drops back, takes that away, and we only have to make one adjustment. And that's basically just to go ahead and bring this guy up, or two adjustments, bring him up into the gap, hot route into blitz. And now we've got our defense, and we still get our edge pressure coming off the edge from this linebacker. And then we still get this coverage here, this guy dropping over the middle. And then we're in control of this guy, and we're just taking away anything in this area here. And then if you look at the rest of the coverage, pretty decent coverage. You got two guys playing the seam flats, and you got two guys playing the deep zones as far as over there as you look at your screen there. So that's pretty nice. So let's go ahead and run it one more time. That time we actually ended up getting blocked. I don't think I was far enough up with them. But that's the idea of the setup right there as far as with this defense. You can definitely get some pressure with it without having to do a whole lot. And that's the cool thing about it. Now, there is another element to here, and we're going to take a look at that in just a second here. Let's go ahead and run it one more time. And again, we get that pressure off the edge. All right, so I've showed you all this good stuff, and you're like, yeah, that's pretty cool. Nice defense. Just bring some pressure off the edge. But what if this happens? And this is what really bothers me a little bit about the game this year, and it's been the last couple years, in my opinion. But let's go ahead and show it to you anyway. So let's go ahead and flip the defense again. What if they leave the halfback in the pass block? So if they call a play or they hot route the guy, the running back to stay in the pass blocks. For example, let's run a slant. The halfback by default is already staying in. So we're going to go ahead and do our same setup. We went through all our spill. We went ahead and set it up. We got this guy right here. We're thinking we're going to get some edge heat. We're going to get some edge heat coming off that edge right here. But the problem is, watch this. Yeah, we still got it there. But a lot of times what you'll end up getting is a chop block. And that chop block about drives me batty, especially from the running back. Let's go ahead and run it again here. There it is. There's that chop block. And that just totally destroys the way that this defense is set up. Now, the advantage of this is, and I'll kind of walk you through it here and kind of just go through it. Let's go ahead and run the play again here and just take a look at an instant replay. I mean, so we get the blitz. We get our coverages. We're dropping our guys back. We got everything taken care of. We're feeling pretty confident. But then we get this right there. Look at if you look at it, you can see that the running back right there, he just goes for the legs and chops them down, and now we don't get our pressure on us anymore. Now, there is an advantage to this. Believe it or not, there is a silver lining to this, and this is what it is. Now, if you go back in here and look at it, you guys already know this, but if you look at it, rather than having 5 guys going out, now they only have 4. So now they just got one less option to throw to, and that's the good thing. So they got 5 guys potentially going out, but by putting the halfback in the pass block, then we get this. We only get 4 guys that we got to worry about. So there comes the cat and mouse game. On the offensive side of the ball, is my opponent going to go ahead and leave the halfback in the pass block, or is he going to allow him to go out? Now that's where the cat and mouse part of it comes into, because again, you can set this up, and if you wanted to here, so I brought him down into the gap, but I'm not going to have him blitz. And if I wanted to, I could switch off to another defender and maybe do something like this. Maybe I put 2 guys in QB spy. So now I've got all these extra defenders dropping back, and they didn't need to leave that halfback in the pass block, and I've got a lot better coverage there than maybe I would have had if I didn't do that. The other, there's some different things. What I'm saying is there's some different things you can do to play the cat and mouse game with your opponent. Let's go ahead and reset the defense here. We just talked about as far as with the hook zone. Remember, I put this guy in 15 yards, dropping back. So I'm going to do the same setup. So I went ahead and reset it, knowing that maybe my opponent's going to leave that halfback in the pass block. I'm not going to hot route him to blitz. I'm going to go ahead and do this time. Maybe I'm going to go ahead and put these guys in a hard flat, these defensive players. Maybe I'll put this guy in a vertical hook. Just all kinds of different things you can do. So now I'm not rushing as many guys, and what I got now is, because they left their halfback in the pass block, even though I don't know they did that, I still have this. Now he doesn't have as many people to throw to, plus I got a lot more guys dropping back in coverage. So I guess what I'm trying to tell you is you can run defenses and played a cat and mouse game with your opponent. You got a 50-50 chance of being right that maybe he left that running back in the pass block, and then you start to go ahead and drop all these guys back. Let's go ahead and run another defense. So maybe this time you decide to come out in a cover 3 defense. You go ahead and flip it. Let's go ahead and flip it. And again, let's go back into the shotgun formation, and then they run that slants play. All right, so we got all these guys here. As far as with that, let's go ahead and reset it. So let's go ahead and reset the defense here. So I reset it, so those linebackers aren't going to drop as far back. I'm going to go ahead and bring this guy up. So I've got basically this. Now it looks like the same defense I've been running, where I was running the blitz and I was looking to get that edge pressure. But this time, they snapped the ball. I'm not. I'm only bringing those couple guys in on them. So my point is you're going to have to mismatch. Hopefully you can get your opponent in the right situation on offense. Maybe lift the halfback in. You guessed right. You don't have as many pass rushers. And then he just screwed himself because he doesn't have the halfback going out, so he's got one less guy to throw to. Now he's only got 4 guys to throw to. And in some of the route combinations in the game, having a halfback do something, for example, maybe running a flat, can change up the way the whole pass coverage is going to work. It's going to work in your favor. So basically what I'm saying is mix and match your formations, or from your formation, mix and match your defensive coverages from that same formation, give them the same look. And I think most of us already know this. We've probably been doing it for years. If you're new to the game and you're not doing that, something you might want to do. Let's go ahead and do one last thing here. We talked about the 12th defender. I want to go ahead and show that to you since I'm already in here. Might as well go ahead and do it. So we're going to go ahead and do the wall stunt, and then we're going to run this. Again, we're running against a gun formation because it really don't matter if you're running zone defense, in my opinion. And then we'll go ahead and run the Y cell play there. And then we're going to go ahead and make this the 12th defender by bringing him up and respotting that ball. Let's bring it up inside here somewhere. And then you can see right there, we're going to go ahead and do the same setup as we did before. All right, so there was that is. And then we're just going to go ahead and let it ride. Hopefully get some pressure on the quarterback. There we go. So you get the 12th defender. You don't have to worry about the safety so much. You really don't have to worry about them getting to the end zone because, again, the back of the end zone is your 12th defender. And that's kind of what we've been showing in some of the things I've been focusing in on here. So there's definitely some, you almost had this guy, looks like he was about to throw, but this guy over here possibly was open as you look at your screen here. This one over here, he might have been able to get over there. But at any rate, the idea of this is to try to confuse your opponent, run some different defenses. With the ammunition as far as with the running back doing a chop block at fullback, at times it's almost frustrating because when I see it, it just blows my mind how a running back, I haven't seen a running back block like that since Walter Payton played for the Bears back in the 70s, early 80s, where I've seen a running back block that good every single play. And that's the one thing that I'm frustrated with. I wish that could be toned down a little bit. But at any rate, that's part of the game. So with that said, then you have to make adjustments that will work in your favor. So basically the summary of this whole thing I just showed you was how to get pressure off the edge coming from a linebacker. Make sure you mix and match your defenses from the same formation with the coverages behind it. That way your opponent doesn't know what you're bringing, if you're bringing the heat or not bringing the heat. If they leave the running back in the pass block and you guess right and you have multiple defenders dropping back, it's going to work in your favor. If he has the halfback in the pass block, there's a good chance that the linebacker is going to get cut blocked, and you're not going to get that same kind of heat on the quarterback. Now, of course, the good news to that would be is if you have an elite pass rusher, one of those studly guys who can get pressure on the quarterback without, one of the edge pass rushers, elite pass rushers, or one of the X Factor superstars, then that's going to benefit you because at least the running back's going to be taken out of the play because he's occupied with that linebacker, and then hopefully your elite defender can get pressure on the quarterback after he breaks the initial block. So at any rate, that's where I wanted to go with this whole thing. I know it's a long video again, but I try to explain everything as like I like to do with you guys and try to really give you guys the insight of what's going on as far as with the game and try to understand all the different scenarios that could play out. So this one is called the 46 Bear Wall Stunt, showing how to get pressure from the outside linebacker on the left side of the field. Hey Madden gamers, if you enjoy this Madden video or any other video, please subscribe to the Madden Guides YouTube channel. And as always, thanks for watching and for your support.